no more, no less than what our experiences allow us to be. And I can think of no better way to provide good, wholesome experiences for young people. On tennis courts, and yes, golf courses, for those of us whose knees will not allow tennis to be much of a part of our existence. And so I'm pleased to be here today, because for those people who think that nothing good and historical ever came out of South Carolina, I'm here today to say that nothing any better than Althea Gibson ever came out of South Carolina, but a whole lot of good did come out of this great state of ours. And thank you all so much for letting me be a part of the commemoration of those issues and the celebration of a life well lived.
I'm Harry Spratlin, District Communications Coordinator for the Postal Service in South Carolina.
All right, can you tell us about the event that just occurred?
Yeah, we had an honorary event to commemorate the new Black Heritage Stamp for 2013 dedicated to Althea Gibson.
Okay, and why was it important to have it in Columbia? Because I understand that you had one in New Jersey or in some other places. Why bring it home here?
Well, ours was the third event, and of course, South Carolina is the birthplace of Althea Gibson. And we tried to get an arrangement with the State Museum to have a special display there to honor her. So we have personal artifacts, photographs, clothing items that are now on display at the South Carolina State Museum through September 29th as a result of our efforts.
Excellent. And so I heard you also say that at this event you had more family members than at some of the other events. Why was that important?
Well, family members always add authenticity to an event, and they are there to celebrate their relation, and that made it even more special for all those who attended. But we had over 30 at our event.
So how long did it take you to actually put all of this together? Because things seemed to really run smooth, and you had a lot of dignitaries. How long did it take you to put this together?
Well, you know, I had an awful lot of help from people who were involved, and I would say that we probably spent 2 months in the planning and carrying it out stage and notifying people, and then having everybody's remarks properly coordinated. But yeah, this is one of those times when we started out with a concept, and we had everybody jump on board and give their wholehearted support. So I can't take very much credit for the great value that we had.
Excellent. And how difficult was it getting the dignitaries there? Because you had quite a few.
You know, initially we called and asked for Congressman Clyburn. We knew that he was in a break during this period of time, so that those two things coincided. One, the issuance of the stamp. Two, the break from Congress. So Congressman Clyburn, graciously supported the event, and then, when we called others, we certainly dropped his name.
Okay. So can you just give us a rundown of a few of the dignitaries that were there?
Right. We had Mayor Steve Benjamin of the City of Columbia. We had Willie Calloway, the Executive Director of the South Carolina State Museum. We had Al Marshall, the President of the U.S. Tennis Association. So that was and of course we had the District Manager for the U.S. Postal Service in the state of South Carolina, Dolores Sheeran-Lyle, as one of our speakers.
So what would you like people to take away from Althea Gibson? What about her, besides the fact that she was a great tennis player, but what about her character do you think we could learn from?
Just wait for these. Okay. Well, I think the thing that really amazed me the most about Althea Gibson was not so much her skill at tennis, but her perseverance in being able to weather all the opposition and resistance that she had during that period of time. There was no Title IX to support women's athletics during that period. There was no civil rights movement to support minorities. So she pretty much went it alone with the support of some, influential people that believed in her. And she had her hard times as well, but she believed in herself. And in the end, she became the top of the tennis world. So that's a pretty big deal. Excellent.
Listen, I really appreciate the time that you spent, and Do you have any other First Day coming up in the near future, in the next year or so?
Well, we right now, this is the 50th anniversary of the Civil Rights Movement, and the fourth stamp in this to celebrate the Civil Rights Movement has come out, and that is the March on Washington stamp, and we have an event in the Low Country where we'll be celebrating that. We also want to do another unveiling for the Althea Gibson stamp in Clarendon County with Mayor Julia Nelson of Manning.
Okay, excellent. Well, hopefully, maybe we might be able to be there.
That'd be great, Don. Now that I got your card, I'll sort of give you a call.
Okay, thanks a lot.
It's important because my great aunt was honored and dedicated with a stamp, and I work for the U.S. Post Office, so I am very proud to see this day.
Can you tell us a little bit about her? We heard a lot today, but being that, she was your aunt, can you give us something that maybe most people don't know?
She was about family. Every Thanksgiving she was there. So to me, she's just auntie. Maybe to the world, she was famous tennis player, but she was family to me. We didn't look at her like that.
And your name again?
My name is Crystal Thorne.
Okay.
Hello.
Can you tell us why this is important to you?
It's very important to us because she was one of the greatest, and she was one of the best aunts that we could have.
And your name?
Sandra Gibbons.
Okay, and you guys live in Petersburg?
Yes, in Richmond.
You were born, okay.
Yeah, the 143rd Street. Where she was there. We was living with her.
Excellent, okay.
We lived in the house with her mother. We had 5 generations at one time.
Okay. Right. I want to thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Can you tell us why it was important for you to be here today?
Well, it's a historic day. You always hear the story from the Bible, can anything good come out of Nazareth? And folks often ask that about South Carolina, and in particular, the special place called Clarendon County. And you think of this small town in the middle of the crop belt of South Carolina, and how many incredibly exceptional people who helped change the arc of history came out of Clarendon County. Harry and Eliza Briggs, Reverend J. A. Delane, the Briggs versus Elliott case, and this superstar of an athlete from Silver, South Carolina, having a chance to recognize Miss Gibson here today. It's a big day, and we're proud to have played a small role today. But it's always good to recognize your history and those who contributed to making our lives today possible. So it's a wonderful day.
Excellent. Before I let you go, can you just say one thing to the people that's watching this about Althea Gibson's character that's helped you and maybe can help other people?
Well, it's always important to recognize that today we have people who are excelling in every aspect of human life, in the arts and industry and science and religion, because we're living in an America that is closer to what our original creed was supposed to be. The amount of strength and tenacity and character and wisdom that was required of the men and women who lived in this country barely a generation ago, 50, 60 years ago, and to, in spite of all those odds, still be able to have the stick-to-itiveness and the vision to see well beyond their surroundings at the time, and decide they were going to trailblaze, that they were going to stand up just as God called Isaiah when he said, who shall I send? Who will go for us? And Isaiah said, here am I, Lord, send me. Althea Gibson is representative of a generation of the greatest Americans who stood up even when their country at the time would not recognize them, stood up and thought that she would blaze a trail for others to come behind her. She represents the best of us.
Listen, I want to thank you. I know you're busy, and thank you so much. I appreciate it.